when they were established in Ireland, particularly initially in Dublin at Baggot Street, there was a need. You know, the Irish Church needed sisters to instruct the faithful. They were thought of as not very. I mean, they didn't have rudimentary education, and so they begin to expand in Ireland and into England and to Australia, and basically wherever the Irish went, they went, and they went where they were needed. They were usually, received a call or invitation to come someplace. They're usually invited to where, and they go where they're responding to a need.
There were 5 sisters who were brought here by Frances Ward, and they were all under the age of 24. And the oldest was the 24-year-old, and that was Agatha O'Brien.
As the sisters moved from Ireland to the United States, the same realities persisted. And the Bishop of Chicago was a pretty visionary guy. I think he was probably overwhelmed. He was the very first Bishop of Chicago, Bishop John Porter. And when he heard that these sisters were coming, he was standing at the dock as they got off the boat saying, "Come to Chicago," because he knew he was going to need help. And he knew that these were women who had a passion for helping and for making a difference. I doubt that he had a real clear sense of what they might do for him, but I think he knew that they could provide real assistance in a very concrete way.
But she came, and these 5 sisters actually turned Chicago upside down in the ways that were needed. For example, she started the Catholic school system while she was here. She also started the First Mercy Hospital, orphanage, and so she was very engaged and well needed. And during that time, she lived for 5 years and died of cholera, as did many of them. Catherine Macaulay's vision was that women their status needed to be raised. They needed to know how to get employment so that they could care for their children and themselves. And so her idea was that starting academies for women would be the way that we could get women educated, and then they would become independent, and they would be able to have employment and have a dignity that was needed by women at that time. And Agatha O'Brien began the Catholic school system, began schools all over. The academy was the forerunner of St. Xavier University. That was begun, and it was only for women in its inception. Later, in 1966, of course, we invited men to come. And so those were the various things that she began. Again, healthcare and education, the biggest needs.
The Academy has really embraced this model of female education that's popular for well-to-do women, young women. You've got a good education, solid, in terms of scholastics, but you also learn the finer things of life, languages. You're sewing, and how to be a good companion in life. It was also produced vocations as well. But yeah, I think that it's modeled on that idea, and it's similar to much of American Catholic female education for the time.
And I know that in reading about our history here in Chicago, that the bishops were very concerned that the south side of the city would have a faith-based college, educational institution, and that is exactly what happened then.
It drew from both Protestant and Catholic families. That was always the concern that Protestants would have, that the sisters would want to convert them to Catholicism. They were careful not to do that because they could lose students that way. As far as racial composition, it remains a largely white population, European white population, well into the 20th century. One of the concerns or criticisms of the Academy in the mid 20th century is that it's moving to its current location to because of the changing neighborhood that's at Cottage Grove. And this is a concern, there's this debate that runs through religious communities in Chicago in the 20th century. It largely is drawn from an Irish American, white European population for most of its history. The fire destroyed the school, and they had to build the new one on Calumet. What's funny is that there was also another academy school about the same time that had been folded into St. Xavier's Academy, St. Agatha's Academy. When the fire hit, basically what happens is the academy schools sort of flip with the hospital. So you have the hospital where it is now on the south side, and they had to build a new building for the St. Xavier Academy. The fire basically makes the Sisters of Mercy build a new building in that location, and it's thought to be quite the building for its time. And middle class, upper middle class American Catholic families in Chicago are sending their daughters there, and it's kind of interesting to see this rise of a growing middle class Irish Catholic population, particularly in Chicago. Eventually, it's going to go further south to 49th and Cottage Grove, where it will stay. It's when they open the college at the same time, where it'll stay until they move out to its present location. Mm-hmm. I think by this point, the Academy has really embraced this model of female education that's popular for well-to-do women, young women. You've got a good education, solid, in terms of scholastics.
And that's what was the first reason for the move to 49th and Cottage Grove. And so it was then and there that they'd begin again. And fortunately, the sisters always had people who cared about them, who wanted to support the institution and contributed. So the Chicago Fire, was for many, many different places, institutions, families. Everyone was impacted by it greatly.
It's kind of interesting to see this rise of a growing middle class Irish Catholic population, particularly in Chicago. Eventually, it's going to go further south to 49th and Cottage Grove, where it will stay. It's when they open the college at the same time, where it'll stay until they move out to its present location.